welcome to Consciously Healthy. I'm Claire.
And I'm Laura. And here we are again.
Yeah, we're going to talk about confusion in the health industry, aren't we?
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier. And it's one of the most frustrating things I find about the work that we do is that as learning and as new research comes through and as bodies change, the information becomes outdated. And when we have conditions that we're looking for solutions for, there's so much conflicting research and information out there that makes it really tough about
really tough.
Well, which pathway do I take? And I see so many clients who come to me and they've got bags full of supplements that they've bought from a shop, and they've read lots of things on the internet, and they are utterly confused about what to do, and maybe their symptoms are getting worse and they just don't know where to turn.
And they're starbursting all over the place.
Yeah, very much. You're doing a bit of this, bit of that.
And the amount of times people say to me, but you know, what's a healthy diet for me? And my answer is it depends what you want to achieve. So, I mean, we trained as Kundalini yoga teachers a few years back.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was fun. And we followed quite a lot of the yogic principles in terms of diet. Now, that can be a lot of fasting. It can be a lot of just sort of fruit-based eating. It can be, well, we had to do a 40-day mung bean fast, which was...
It was mung bean curry, actually, wasn't it?
Mung bean curry for 40 days. Yeah, neither of us thrived particularly well on that one. And, you know, the point of those is for spiritual enlightenment. They are scientifically not healthy diets.
I remember asking, you know, we were studying nutrition at the time, and I was like, so I've got to eat a mung bean curry every single day for 40 days.
And 3 meals a day.
What's the nutritional qualities in this? And actually the reason we were doing it is to break our relationship and our attachment to food.
I think I should made it worse.
we were terrible. I found it really, really difficult. I've got a huge attachment to food. I really like food. And but we did it. The sense of achievement.
You just stank a curry and you were really grumpy. I didn't feel that spiritual. I was just hungry and tired.
I used to come home at night and go, all I've got to eat is mung bean curry. I might as well go to bed.
So, you know, if you're looking for spiritual enlightenment, then yeah, you know,
curry's the way forward.
Curry is the way forward. Mung bean curry. So, you know, so many of the yogic principles are phenomenal because they are working from a higher purpose. If, however, you want to heal your body, then depending on what your symptoms are, depends on what the diet is.
Yeah.
But I just had a really interesting one because my health is such a wonderful conundrum. It keeps me on my toes.
And mine.
Yeah,
we talk about it a lot.
Yeah, we do talk about it a lot. And I've got quite a messed up hormone system. And I was talking to someone the other day, a friend of mine who's a phenomenal nutritionist, and she's brilliant. And I just sort of happened to say to her, you know, well, my hormones went really, really crazy about 2 years ago when I gave up soya protein shakes. And she went, that's interesting, isn't it? And I said, well, I just kind of thought it was, you know, because of all that we know now about how bad soy is, all that we know. I just thought it was because the soy had messed up my hormones and my body was trying to reset. And she went, but you didn't struggle with your weight so much. I went, no, I didn't. And she went, your energy was better. And I went, yeah, it was. And she went, yeah, well, then you see, I would say that there's a good chance that the soy was actually working for you. And I went, but there's science to prove that, you know, it's not. And then we were both looking at each other going, the health industry is so confusing because, you know, it's something that we forget as health practitioners. It's something that we lecture on, is that there is no such thing as a one-size-fits-all diet. We are biochemically individual. And what is good, you know, what's the phrase?
Good for the goose and good for the gander? Oh.
Something like that. One man's meat is another man's poison.
That's the one.
So it's really important to learn what's right for ourselves as individuals away from the fads. And even the scientific research is, I mean, goodness sake, that's so important. And it also comes down to biochemic individuality.
Yeah. I know when I first got into the nutrition and health industry, it was back in the early noughties, and the rage was brown rice for fibre, it was vegetables, fish, juicing, colonic therapy, detoxing, coffee enemas, and I threw myself in the deep end and I absolutely did that 110% and made myself really ill. And now I look at the health industry and the trends that are coming through. The brown rices and the grains have all gone out of fashion. The meats have come back into fashion with things like paleo diets, high fat. So when I first started looking into fats, were considered as important, but not as important as they are now. And
these days bone brothing has taken over from juicing.
It's a really, really different industry, and I guess it's wonderful that we keep evolving and we keep growing, and that's absolutely what science needs to do. It can be very frustrating for practitioners who have to unlearn what they've spent years learning, and it's really confusing for clients.
It is. I love the having to unlearn. I think it was dietitian Cassie who wrote a really beautiful blog about it. Actually, she said that to do that. I'm Cassie. I am just paraphrasing, and I'm pretty sure you didn't say it in any way like this. But basically, it's the unlearning that's so important, and the most important thing as a professional in the health industry is never to have a problem with standing up and saying, that whole thing. Yeah, we were wrong about that.
Yeah, lovely.
And it's something because we come across quite a lot of haters. A lot of people who get very triggered by our lifestyles or by the food that we eat or whatever. And the amount of people who go, well, a few years ago you were saying all of this. And I go, yeah, you know what? We were wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. And the minute that we stop learning and growing and evolving is the minute we stop being great practitioners.
Absolutely, I completely agree.
So
it's really fascinating. But it is confusing, and particularly when people are dealing with ill health, it's very frustrating.
What do people do? What are our top tips to be able to deal with the confusion in the health industry?
A really good one. I would find some basic benchmarks. So, it's like at the moment, coffee is the most, sought after health food on the planet right now. And so that's great to be sucked into that. Particularly for me, coffee is my thing. It's my vice. But it's not good for me. I really struggle with coffee. And so it's this kind of thing. Find out the real benchmarks for you as an individual for what does work for you and what doesn't work for you. Now, I'm not talking like the minutiae details. I'm literally talking about, do you feel bloated or get indigestion after wheat? Yeah? Probably avoid it. That the amount of people, when we say to them, do you suspect you're intolerant to vinegar or wheat? Well, what happens? Well, I get bloated and I get really bad indigestion. Yeah, I think you're intolerant to wheat. It's like pretty basic. If you get really snotty after dairy, probably try avoid that. And if you're having a coffee and you're addicted to it, and either you're noticing you're getting really cellulite or you're getting really tired the next day, don't have so much coffee. Just find the basic benchmarks for yourself that feel true.
I like it.
Thanks.
I think my top tip is I really, really encourage the clients I see to start listening to their body, because what tends to happen is when we start doing research on the internet and then we find conflicting information and we're constantly looking outside of ourselves for answers, and the minute that we start listening to ourselves and going, okay, I really need this kind of fibre, I really need these kind of vegetables, I don't feel great when I eat that, and it's starting to really listen to what your body is trying to tell you.
That's brilliant. I actually read a book in the 90s called The Obvious Diet. And it was a guy, a journalist, who had no nutritional knowledge in any way, shape or form, who lost a truckload of weight. And he said it's because what he did was he sat there and he listened to his body. So when he was at these big, media parties and they were handing around the canapes, he would literally look at the smoked salmon blini, because it was the 90s, and he would literally pick off the smoked salmon and leave the blini and the cream cheese. He was like, he just knew that was the bit that was putting on the weight. And he said, I stopped drinking, started drinking soda water. I just knew when I really sat down and was honest with myself, the stuff that wasn't working for me.
I love it. I love it when clients really start listening to their intuition. It is when the magic starts to happen. And also there's a real empowerment in that, is really identifying what suits you.
Yeah, fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely.
Remember to subscribe, and we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.